my nephew and my parents. My nephew's a senior, Gates Chala High School. He's going to his ball tonight.
Gets his height from my side.
Yeah. Absolutely not. When he find his real father, because my brother's 5'7", we'll figure that out. He's a young, up-and-coming conservative. Raised him right. So, wishing him well this Saturday night at Gates Chala, and hopefully it's not too woke.
Was designed to change the behavior of white people, to tap into a type of white vote, an enthusiasm among white voters that was going to obliterate anything you might otherwise need to get from people of color. I mean, we do have Clinton underperforming Barack Obama with Latinos. We have Clinton underperforming Barack Obama with African Americans, although that was expected. What we've got, though, the biggest number and the biggest thing that explains how Trump could maybe win the presidency with only 29% of the Latino vote, is that he's spiked white vote. He has figured out a way to do that. And that has always been the far right's dream, that you could figure out a way to do it without minorities. In fact, you could figure out a way to do it on the backs of minorities by threatening minorities in a way that make a lot of people uncomfortable. But that does awaken something, basically that's racial anxiety among whites. And that's how you win. That's been a dream on the far right. It's the Ann Coulter dream of white turnout.
Well, let me give the other version of that notion, and it is that the three issues that he tapped into, trade, immigration, and wars, I think he's on the popular side of. I think the country hates all these wars. The establishment in both parties has been supporting those wars, including Hillary. The fact we don't have an immigration system that we enforce. Business doesn't want one because they want the cheap labor. Democrats want the jobs and want the votes. Nobody's gotten it together. In terms of trade, the fact is, a good part of the states we're looking at tonight, just drive through Michigan, drive through Wisconsin, and you'll see places that are hollowed out. There's nothing left. There used to be a Blockbusters movie place to get videos. They're gone. Now nothing's left but the diner. That's all that's left to hold the community together. And so Trump said, you know what, I think I can run against this stuff. And he put it together. And I think it was a legitimate campaign on those issues. I mean, I never heard Hillary railing against these stupid wars. I never heard Hillary railing genuinely against these trade deals. She came out against TPP at the very end, and nobody really believed it. And I never heard her really come out for a comprehensive immigration program, which included enforcement on illegal hiring, and actually put it together. Sure, she went out and got Latino votes, but did she ever come out for a sound, workable, progressive, enforceable immigration policy? No. So people saw
this. She did. She actually did have a comprehensive immigration policy.
Where was she on enforcement?
She was all for the Obama part of the enforcement.
Did she ever campaign for it?
Yes, she did. Actually,
campaign for it?
Yes, she did.
When did she talk about the E-Verify? When did she talk about it?
This is the one issue where she stood up to what people said she had to say to the Latino community. They wanted her to step away from Obama
continually, and I never heard her come out for the strong elements in a comprehensive immigration program. She thought she could get all the Hispanic vote without paying a price. And if you're going to have a law that works and you're going to enforce it, you have to pay a political price. And I never heard her do it.
That's what she campaigned on, was a comprehensive immigration program.
She said the word.
No, she campaigned on it, Chris. She did. What she didn't do was say build a wall.
No, Mexicans are rapists. Did she say anything about? Did she ever say stop illegal hiring in this country? Stop illegal immigration in this country? Did she ever say it?
That was her proposed policy.
I never heard her come out against illegal immigration. Did you?
You think she should have she should have tried to get to Trump's right on that issue?
No, I think the country's against illegal immigration. And it's a serious bit. I've never heard a country that didn't have a border, didn't have a work permit, didn't get serious about it. And I think that business wants the cheap labor and the Democrats want the votes. And that's why you know what the solution to the immigration problem is? What we have right now. That's what the Democrats want. That's what the Republicans want. What we have right now, this Michigas, this craziness. And I think that Trump took advantage of it. And I don't think it's racism.
I have two.
The way he did it was, but I don't think the issue was.
The way he did it was.
Hey everyone, it's Brian with Right on Red. Hope you enjoyed that video. Thought it might make some people laugh or make it a good evening for you guys. It's one of my favorites, of course, as you watch Rachel Maddow completely break down, and the other host there kind of brings her back to earth, which she has no desire to be on, and takes right back off. But it's insane. That was a great night. I remember that. But let's get started with some local stuff here in Rochester, New York. Some of you tuned in might not be from here, but you want to know about it because Rochester last year was the murder capital of the world. Well, of the United States, maybe the world. We had 81 murders, and we only have 200,000 people or less in our city. So, you break that out to Chicago size, and you're talking, 800 murders, even more. You break it out to Austin, Texas, who also broke a record with 83 murders. They have 1 million people, though. So if we had that many people, you're talking 400 murders. So Austin, Texas, don't think it's so bad yet. Wait, I guess maybe they don't have to deal with New York. We love you criminal policies. So anyways, if you know anything about Rochester, you know anything about the city council and the 2 years of we hate the police that they went through, the RPD, you know that what lovely Warren and our city council did was put together a police accountability board. They have no power to discipline any officers, but they can recommend it and they can investigate, right? So what do? They get put together. They get some members. One of the members is someone who shot a pregnant lady some years back, but that wasn't the target, so don't worry. It was a guy. Some other guy was the target. Excuse me. Don't mind that he had an illegal gun and fired it into an apartment building, but that's literally the way people think. But anyways, so it's made up of some interesting characters. Of course, they all hate the police. And what do? To get rolling, they get an office building that is astronomically expensive, fully furnished. Remember those words, fully furnished, with beautiful furniture. And then a couple months later, we find out that the head of the Police Accountability Board is suspended, put on leave for what? Oh, no. They're going to handle this inside. They're going to handle this, inside. They don't want us to know. We don't need to know. Holy shit. Isn't this the same group of people who made this Police Accountability Board in order to bring everything to the public's attention and keep everything in the open? We want transparency on every issue, right? Except for when it happens with us. Then we want to hide it and tell you to look over there, not here. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, the fact that it was the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard. But again, I can say that almost every day because I hear hypocritical nonsense coming from progressives every day. So anyways, that happens. Don't know why he's suspended, but apparently there were some HR complaints that they're dealing with. Then the city council says no more spending money. A couple weeks later, they say, well, that's it. We're putting a hold on your spending. Why? Well, because there's two large expenses that really caught the eye of city council and those who were, doing the books. What were those expenses? Well, let me tell you, one was for office furniture for $100,000. Do you remember what I told you to remember, right? That their building that's so expensive is fully furnished. Fully furnished. But they're going to spend $99,000 on more office furniture. Interesting. Oh yeah, but there was another one that was about $100,000 as well. I think $95,000, $94,000. Two Ford Explorers, much nicer than the ones the police drive or the ambulance or the EMTs drive. Much nicer. Trust me, much nicer. More expensive and much nicer than the ones that the police that are, here to protect us drive. These little weasels get to ride in a nice one so they can go, I'm going to go check out what this cop did. Oh, a guy pulled a gun on someone and they tackled him. Beat it, chief. It's unreal. But anyways, that's basically just literally, it's like if you look down from above and want to know what Rochester was all about, that's it. That's literally a perfect example of Rochester, New York. We say one thing, or well, by we I mean our elected officials, say one thing, do the other, and expect you to follow rules and laws that they don't even believe in. They constantly are corrupt, i.e., Mayor Lovely Warren and her husband with illegal guns and dealing drugs. But they were separated at the time, remember? Shh. I'll pull a Joe Biden. Let me tell you something. Anyways, he was a little bit corrupt, what you say, right? So anyways, that's literally a perfect analogy for Rochester, New York, what I just said. And you wonder why we've had 81 murders last year, and why we're on pace to do it again this year, plus more. Why we had 400 shootings, plus. Why we're on pace to do it again, plus more. Why houses are continuously getting shot into in the city, daily, sometimes multiple times daily. It happens every day. Why carjackings over the last year and a half have been something that is just going wild here, and not just in Rochester, in the greater Rochester area, so in the suburbs as well. In case you didn't notice, I'm outside in my wooden, whatever you want to call it, gazebo. It's bigger gazebo, built it, and I had some help, but it's sitting next to the in-ground pool with these new lanterns that I bought. Figured I'd do this from outside today. Hope it works out. But anyways, we elected a mayor, talked a good game, looked the part, had time to prepare for the part, and right now is getting shut out in the 5th inning. Completely no hit. He's done nothing yet. So we're going to give him a full game, see how he does. Maybe as the game goes on, it gets better, but something's got to give, because we got to start putting people, violent criminals, behind bars. We got to start taking illegal guns off the streets. You know, but ARs, listen, we'll get into that, okay? We'll get into that. It's a whole nother discussion. But let me tell you, out of the 81 murders last year, here, there was only one of them with a legal gun. 74 of them were with illegal guns, and some were with other weapons. But I will tell you, none of them were with an AR. None. Not at all. I will tell you that while 19 children getting killed is just god-awful, and I couldn't imagine, it's just evil and disgusting. It's horrific. Anyways, but with those 19 children, where's Biden last Monday morning, or Tuesday morning, finding out that over Memorial Day, 25 people were murdered in Philadelphia alone. 13 in Chicago. 45 in the top 5 biggest cities. That's every weekend. So you want to talk about this and that, but they focus on, like I always say, it's like your bathtub overflowing, and you run in there and you take a towel and you start wiping it up off the floor, but you never touch the water. You never touch the faucet. You just let it go. Keep it on. Let it run. Keep wiping up water, letting the faucet run. That's what Democrats do. Because the bulk of murders, the bulk of shootings are done with illegal handguns. Not ghost guns, not ARs, not even rifles. illegal handguns. Not legal. The fact is, in places where more people are carrying, places where guns are more relevant and are more likely to be on the hip of someone, on, law-abiding citizens, there's much less crime. That's a fact. New York State has the toughest gun laws in the United States. Buffalo, look what happened. Rochester, Murder City, USA. New York City, well, you see what's going on. New York City, you can't even carry your gun. You can't have a carry permit. You have a pistol permit, it's got to stay locked up in your apartment with a trigger lock on it in its own safe, and the ammunition has to be in another safe. Hold on, Mr. Burglar. Mr. Intruder, are you coming to kill me? Okay, wait a minute. Give me about 10 minutes to get these all locked and unlocked and loaded and all that. It's a joke. Hope nobody follows that. But you can carry it only to the range closest to your apartment. That's it, or your house. That's it. So that means all these illegal guns on the streets being carried by these crazy gang members and criminals, they know you, Mr. Businessman, are not strapped on the hip. They know that. So what do you think's going to happen? All right. So anyways, I want to quickly start with that. But now let's get down to some interesting but very sad issues. And I want to start off by saying, then the name of the show, Right on Red, I came up with. And I say we're anti-woke. The anti-woke podcast, right? What does anti-woke mean? Ultimately means anti-progressive. Not anti-left, not anti-centrist, not anti-this. It's anti-progressive. Their policies are ruining America. Not Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema or any of the middle ground people. I might not agree with everything they agree with, but guess what? It is what it is. It's not going to crush America. But the progressives, I always say, AOC and Joe Manchin are farther away from each other than Joe Manchin and Donald Trump. And that's a fact. So, it's, I try to be an intelligent, common sense, evidence-based discussion podcast where I welcome debate. I really do, because I love debate. You see debate on Fox News all the time. You don't see debate on CNN and MSNBC. Why is that? Well, you answered your own question. If you said, maybe because Fox News believes that debate should be allowed and that they can win. Yep, you answered it right. Yep. But even better, CNN knows that they will lose. Buck Sexton used to go on there. He's a radio commentator during the day with Clay Travis and the Clay and Buck show. Took over for Rush Limbaugh. And he actually ended up getting banned and kicked off and fired because he was at first the resident CIA counterterrorism person, but then he came in as the resident Republican. Come on, we'll give you a beating and you leave. But it didn't quite go that way. Buck Sexton knows his shit, and what it turned into is him giving them a beating. They didn't like that so much because honestly, the science, research, everything, it's on our side all the time, 99% of the time, 9+ times out of 10. If you come loaded, you're going to win that debate. If you come unprepared, it could be different. But if you come loaded with evidence and facts, you're going to win. So I like to engage, by digging deep into the politics, the narratives, the manufactured, that are manufactured and pushed by the media outlets that are absolutely 100% partnered with the progressive left. And we've known that for years now. As Donald Trump and the Republicans running in the last election was like a football team playing in the Super Bowl, but they didn't have any radios in their helmets. The quarterback didn't have a radio in their helmet. The referees were all for the other team. No crowd, no fan was let in of theirs, and their coaches had to sit in the locker room the whole time. That's how stacked it was against them. So when you say, well, it was a fair election, but was it? But was it? There might have not been as much fraud. Well, I believe there was. There was a lot of fraud, and there was a lot of proof of it too. But you can have the argument, well, I don't think there was a lot of fraud. But the fact is, the rules changed the days before the election in these states. And the media suppressed information. Social media did with Hunter Biden. It stacked it against it. Anyways, so they're still doing it, still manufacturing narratives for the sake of the progressive left. So while the progressive agenda, we know, isn't popular by any means, and it fails every time it's been implemented, which is a lot. This isn't new. This isn't new. It isn't. You may think it is. You may think it's new, but it's truly not. The progressive agenda has been around for a long time, and it's failed every time it's been implemented. But what happens is it cycles back, and the new generation's here, and they don't realize that it's new. What they think is that, they think it's new. They don't realize that this has been tried before, and that it didn't work then. It's not going to work now. So, what they give it a whirl, and it fails again. It's been so it's destined for failure now, just like it's always been. And if you recycle something that is such a horrible thing, it's failed before, it's bullshit, it's blatantly destined for failure, wouldn't you say that's insane? It is. That's why I truly believe progressivism is a mental illness. Call it, laugh, whatever you want to do. Progressivism is a mental illness. Sorry, guys. Their belief system is seriously screwed up. It is a mental illness, I'm telling you. Progressive idiots have obviously, they try to alter history. They don't have the work ethics. They don't have any of the stuff that's needed to actually look back and see that it's failed before. So this new generation of the AOCs and them, they don't know that in the 70s, this is tried and failed. 70s, early 80s. It failed. That's why the Republican, the mayoral birth in some of these big cities came about in the 90s. Because crime got crazy. It just got insane. Anyways, so the progressive agenda, it's almost a copy and paste clone of the Marxist agenda. And that's where it starts to get scary. I mean, if you've watched any YouTube videos of the BLM founders, well, the one woman blatantly states that she believes Marxist principles, Marxism in general, is a better and far more fair system than capitalism. Like what? Like, anybody with common sense, anybody with a computer and Google, know that it couldn't be farther from the truth. That, hard socialism and a two-class system has failed. And all it's done is cost people their lives, their livelihood, their futures, their kids' futures, their any chance of success, any chance of getting ahead. And it's built an elite class and a lower middle class at best. There's no ladder to climb ever anymore again. Basically, what are you living for? For some reason, the progressives like that, though. They don't want to work. They don't want to get out there and work and climb a ladder to success. They want equity. So when you look at you look at some of the young 20-something, college-educated rich kids, millennials, the educators, the BLM elites and the coastal elites all over, they openly state that, that they know the evils of capitalism. They're mentally unstable. Again, remember this. They say the craziest nonsense. The systematic inequalities which they blame for the reason criminals are committing crimes. They're not blaming the fact that the laws are making it easy for them to commit crimes, so that's what they do. They are taking advantage of the current system. And instead they say, no. The reason they're doing this is because of the systemic and historical inequalities. So what we need is more programs. So we've watched over the last 2 years as program after program has been implemented. Crime's got worse and worse. Programs are all well and good. That's fine. But you can't implement a program until you've gotten the current crop of violent criminals and drug dealers off the streets. Bottom line. It's just that simple. They blame the guns, of course, is what they love to blame. They don't blame, they talk about root causes so much. We need to find root causes. We know the root causes. The root causes for the secular, generational poverty in these underprivileged areas starts with fatherless homes. Ron DeSantis is tackling this. It's the number one reason, the number one predictor for kids going off track and repeating the cycle or getting killed. But they don't want to hear any of that shit. You tell them that, it's racist. No, it's just not at all, but okay. And then, the root cause for these school shootings. Come on. Why didn't this happen a long time ago? These guns have been around for a long time because of the way kids are raised now, because of the lack of discipline, because of the moving away from the nuclear family, because of the woke division and the woke ideology that has warped our kids' minds when they're young and made it so that they think they deserve everything. And then what do? If they act up in school, or if they are depressed for a day or two because they got cut from a sports team, or the girlfriend broke up with them, the parents yank them out to a psych doc who puts them on a shitload of pills. Medicate them up. They do it all the time. It's a fact. Not to mention, I don't know the whole fact of it yet, but on one of the shows I was watching yesterday, they have a severe link, a big link between marijuana smoking and these shooters. That they all smoked a lot of marijuana, which is legal now in their states, I believe. But anyways, something the progressive left pushes like crazy. Smoke it up. This is, like I said, they blast things like the nuclear family. They divide us all by our physical characteristics, engaging in hardcore identity politics, while falsely labeling issues as racial or climate related, so that the problem remains and they benefit. They benefit from the issue, from the problem, not from the solution. So they label the inner city, violence and everything as racial inequalities. It's not. It is poverty versus wealth, and there's solutions for poverty, but they don't want solutions, so they say no. They hate our country. They hate our founders. And not because they had slaves or these people are some of the, most, ridiculous, horrible people. No, they hate them because, they don't hate them because of slaves, trust me. These progressives are some of the most racist people who've ever been in our government. I'll talk more about that, but they are, trust me. And they hate them because they believe in individual rights. Our founders believed in liberty, family, faith, values, discipline, small government, work ethic, reward for hard work, and of course the American dream, which is hated by the progressive left. If it was up to them, they'd take it right out of everything. They hate our Constitution, they hate our Bill of Rights. There's no doubt about it. There it is though, the American dream, right? We've talked about it before. It's like nails on a chalkboard to the Marxist left. Let's start calling them what they are, Marxists. Because I really want you to look up Marxist beliefs system and how it works, Marxism. Look up progressives and what they believe and how their government would work. Same exact thing, literally spot on. So, like I said, that their politics, their policies, and their politics are so unpopular that they need to hide the real policies inside these large bills. The COVID relief bill and the Green New Deal. Inside of it is just a complete rat's nest of garbage and freaking earmarked bullshit throughout the whole thing. It is literally a progressive wish list for everything they want, from screwing our energy companies and fossil fuels, which we need, to making sure that they keep minorities and black and brown people down and out in the city. They think, oh, they're helping us. No, they're not. They're keeping you down and out. They're ensuring that you won't reach for that ladder, that you'll continue to take the peanuts they throw to you. It's just very unpopular, so they put them in these large bills with misleading titles. Like I said, they also completely lie, manipulate, and twist information to sculpt their own narratives that create what? Divisions, tons of division, but it creates victims more than anything. Victims are down and out. Once you're a victim and you believe that, you're not gonna help yourself. You're asking for help. They create oppressors, and some of these white people fall for it. Oh, I was an oppressor? Oh shit. Well, here's the keys to my car. I saw a video of some white guy, some woke white guy, apologizing to some black guy in the street. And the black guy's just laughing at him. He's like, what'd you do to me? He's like, I'm apologizing for historical inequalities. He's like, historical inequalities? He's like, I drive a Maserati and work at one of the banks. He's like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. He's like, just you maybe want to get your own life in order. It was comical, but what they've done is exactly like Marxism to a T. You gotta divide into groups, into tons of different groups. And I wrote a thing on Facebook today saying, within a decade, if they were let to do it, which they won't be because we're going to smoke them this November, but if they were left to do it, they would divide us into hundreds and hundreds of groups based on anything from physical characteristic to religion to thought process to belief in this and that and brown hair. It wouldn't matter. But the more groups, the better, because then they pit everyone against it. And of course, they have to find the one group that is the ultimate enemy. And that's white men right now. That's what they're doing. They basically made the white male the demonic entity, that exists, and the malignant destroyer of everything that's been in this country bad, or good. Destroy it, make it bad. But do they believe that, any of that garbage? They don't. They absolutely don't. They did this so that the country's filled with victims. Victims who need help from the saviors that they are. We're the left. We're the progressives. We're your savior. And we're coming to help you. You need our help. Because don't look under your bed. There's a white supremacist, I promise. It's garbage. And that's why they loved that Buffalo thing, which was sad, because the guy's an ignorant piece of dirt who was a racist piece of shit. But the left and the progressives milked it and loved it. And they loved that it happened, and that's what's so sad. They loved it. That's so sad. Wisconsin happens where a black man drives into white people that he hates. He wrote the same manifesto. He hated white people. But there wasn't a gun, and he wasn't white. So Biden said, I'm staying home. How sad is that? You can't see that for what it is. I'm sorry. But again, this is all a mere plan to get and keep control by the left. Same with the voting acts. You saw Georgia break records for every demographic for voting. So it's obviously not holding anyone back at all, not even a little. It's ensuring legit elections, not holding anyone back. But they made people believe that because they want to pass a national act that allows them to have control of the elections, to ensure that they won't lose, because they know they're going to lose. They're so unpopular, they're going to lose. It was, like I said, the progressive movement was starting to work. They were weakening our institutions, schools, faith, our values, morals, culture, and system as a whole. They were doing it, but they went too far. Their real plan basically got out, especially during COVID. People saw it for what it is. People started seeing it. The moms all over the suburbs, cities, rural areas, they saw it. They saw it when their kid had to open the computer and the teacher had to teach them. And a lot of the teachers said, can the parents not be in the room and not listen to what we're saying? Parents said, now we will listen. And they heard it. And they're doing something about it. All those women who left and didn't vote for Trump because the mean tweets and stuff, they're all back. They're all back, plus some, plus more. So the complete lack, of common sense in their narrative, the continuous and unapologetic hypocrisy and blame game, the total lack of accountability, and continuous blame that they play, and ultimately the total and complete failure of almost every piece of legislation they've enacted. Every executive order, every bill, every new and revised policy, it's all failed. And being that it all failed, it's all failed. The progressive left, just their only hope was some of these bills worked out in their favor, and it didn't. Everything failed like it's always done. So come November, when when some of you guys out there, hopefully not any of you, but I know there's people out there. So if any of you people are listening that are going to decide in November, you know what, maybe the left knows they were wrong, and maybe they're the ones really going to help us. Maybe I should go with Democrat votes. I'm sure they'll be better. They know they did wrong. That's the problem. They know they did wrong and they're still doing it. So realize that 100% will not happen. They won't realize nothing. Shit. The only way to stop this insane agenda and the crazy, obnoxious bullshit is to vote red, up and down. All red, the whole way, up and down. And once that happens, I think we're going to see a huge red wave. Don't get me wrong. But in order for that to happen, and then beyond that, because we got to continue to win elections after that, we as people, people care about politics. If you're watching this, you probably care about politics. You need to do your research. You need to get facts and evidence. And you need to talk to people. People say, don't go talk to people about politics. No, you need to talk to people. If they don't want to talk about it, fine, walk away. Or don't talk about it. But if you hear a conversation that's completely off base, throw some facts in there. Talk to people about it. Debate. It's what we need to do, because they do it. They'll interrupt people. Boom, spot on. But if you hit them with facts, they go down like a sack of potatoes. And it's what we need to do, whether it's on Twitter, social media, Facebook, or the supermarket, or your family dinner. You hear something and they're saying something, that's woke or whatever, and it's just, you know the facts of the subject. That's not true. It's a false narrative. Hit them with it. Information is great, and you might just turn someone our way. It's important that we debate. You have all these people saying, the progressive left loves it. These younger people. Well, Trish from high school put on Facebook that this. And it's like, you're so far off base and off target. It's insane. You respond to them, and then they block you from their page, or they come back with well, you're just racist. Then I know I won. Again, if one group of people want debate and the other one doesn't, who do you think's telling the truth? It's pretty simple to see from the outside. When one person, wants the other's voice silenced and suppressed and their info hidden, basically they do everything they can to shut conservatives up. On The other hand, you have people who want voices heard, free and clear debate for all to hear. All info valuable. I think everybody's speech matters, even progressives. It's all bullshit, but it matters. They have the right to do it, and I will defend their right to. They won't defend my right. They think I should be silenced, but that's the difference again. So, well, we want nothing suppressed or silenced. We want all the information out there so we can make a fair and accurate decision come voting time. Or what we're going to do, I want all my clothes looked at so I know what I'm going to wear. I want all my food, I want to look at the whole menu so I know what I'm going to eat. You don't want, it's like the progressives have a menu and they block out a bunch of it. They say, you can order from right here. And you order and pull it off and you're like, damn, I want that instead. But that's what they do. They suppress everything. So that's the group, obviously scared to debate, obviously trying to suppress information. If that's the case, they're wrong. They can't be right. No person who's right would possibly do that. No group that's right. It's just insane that people even fall for it. They have all the media outlets, of course. Yet, this is funny, yet 48% of Democrats watch Fox News. That's great. Because no Republicans watch that shit. They watch CNN or MSNBC. You could take all the viewers from both those stations, put them together, still not even close to the viewers of Fox News. Let's make this the most memorable election in history. I made a sign that said the hunt for Red November. That's what we should be doing. Hunt for Red November. It's, again, moving on, it's still part of this topic because everything is, because of the way the progressives do things. I wanted to talk a little bit about crime and shootings, but I want to talk about all of it. I don't want to talk about just the mass shootings. I want to talk about all the shootings in Chicago and Philadelphia this weekend. I want to talk about the fact that these mass shootings are less than 1% of murders for the year. That's a fact. So while Biden and the left and the progressive left only care about that less than 1% because it fits their narrative, we care about all the murder victims. And if you're going to try to do something to stop violence and crime, wouldn't you focus on the 99%? Yeah, sure, you want to do something for that 1% too, but wouldn't you focus on the 99%? Makes sense. And out of that 1%, only a fraction of it fits their narrative. So those are the ones, so that's why they only talk about 1 or 2 all year. If, you got to watch this clip from the 5 right here, the 5 on